Alrighty guys, we are back again with another video. This time I'm going to be kind of going through my Crucible of Storms thoughts as it has been released within the past couple weeks. Sorry I haven't been doing too many videos lately. I've been kind of preoccupied with MDI stuff as I am casting that, so I'm flying back and forth between where I currently live in Columbus, Ohio, so I can continue going to school and stuff like that. So I've been a little bit busy with that, plus the raid, plus a little bit of everything. So I haven't been having too much. However, I will be getting some Restless Cabal Uu'not videos available whenever those bosses do eventually die for my guild. We've been progressing at them at an okay pace at this point. So I just kind of want to get my thoughts on Crucible of Storms. So as it has been released recently, I've seen a kind of like a mixed amount of opinions, and I kind of want to give mine. Just throw my hat into the ring here. So basically, Restless Cabal and Uu'not on heroic and normal are very easy. I think is an easy way to describe them. I think they're mostly accessible for pretty much all players, and I would say they're pretty easily puggable. They're not overly challenging, and the mechanics aren't overly punishing in any way, so it makes the fights pretty good, especially on heroic and normal difficulties, which appeals to like a mass populace, and it's like super accessible for most players. So I actually think those are very, very good. However, on Mythic, the tuning of Restless Cabal and Uu'not is very challenging, and I actually do appreciate that. So basically, we've gone through a fair amount of tiers where the bosses themselves have been pretty much slouch fests until the very end, or the last two fights of the instances. In the case of like Mithrax and Gahun, only Mithrax and Gahun in that instance were very challenging. All the way through that, I would say even Fed, Devour, and Zul weren't very complicated or very difficult. Obviously, only Jaina was very challenging in Battle of Dazara lore, so that was a thing. So this two-boss raid, being an addendum to BOD and being equal to more challenging in some degrees as Jaina, maybe a little bit less in the terms of Restless Cabal to Jaina, has actually been very nice. I've actually appreciated so much the fact that they were actually able to dial in the damage and like the tuning required for like a damage check fight inside of Restless Cabal, and having seen a lot of some Uu'not Mythic progression, it seems like that fight is relatively challenging. I would expect to see it nerfed, but not because it's too mechanically restricting. I think just by and large, the fight is just a little bit overtuned health-wise, like relative to like how quickly you need to be pushing the fight compared to like the enraged timer and stuff like that. So I would expect to see a little bit of a change in that. But as for like Restless Cabal nerfs, I do expect to see nerfs from that fight, but I think it's nice that they dialed in the tuning more towards higher end Mythic guilds that have already killed Jaina Proudmoore, because like Restless Cabal should be like something you do after you end up completing BOD through the first time around, and then you go and do like Crucible of Storms Mythic. So making sure that they did like kind of amp up that level of skill required that's needed from guilds to be able to kill Restless Cabal is super cool. I've seen a lot of people complaining that it's a little bit too challenging. I think it's a really, really solid strategy fight. I think, though, if the Promises of Power debuff wasn't punishing enough, that it would actually be incredibly lackluster as a fight. So them actually forcing you to actually have to figure out how to deal with that Promises of Power buff is actually super cool. So overall, very good. I'm super, super happy with Crucible of Storms. The devs really nailed it with this raid. Overall, that's super great. I'm going to be releasing some Mythic Crucible of Storms videos at some point whenever I do end up getting those bosses down. I'm probably going to go through a little bit and just kind of talk about how to be dealing with it as like the tank Moonkin, as that's a position that a lot of people have been playing as balancer, just making sure that they are able to tank the skinny caster lady. I don't remember her name at this point. And then we're just going to kind of go through a little bit how all the fights work. So stay tuned for that stuff. And as always, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys this weekend on the MDI desk. Later, guys.